Sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Oh, here we go. The king is clutch.
Oh, no.
Is this just the start of another title run for one LeBron James? Hey, Steph was splashing last night. Do we still believe in the Warriors, who now must win to stay alive? And check this out. Should Golden State fans be worried about LeBron and Steph's little post-game chat? Good Thursday morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. Jenna Wolf alongside a very giddy Nick Wright. We got Brandon back. Kevin Wild's with us. Nick, when LeBron called you after the game to tell you about this little chat, like, you can't even focus. He's so annoying. He can't even focus. He's so happy and giddy. The guy can't even focus.
LeBron. He was in continuous treatment for the trauma to his eye. We'll keep you posted on that. I think he's going to avoid surgery, but I'm not sure yet. We'll keep you posted throughout the day. But it was a nice little
You
hand
wouldn't
here.
know it the way he reacted last night. You would not know it. All right, that is exactly where we start this morning. Let's call it a classic from the Staples Center and a tough night for LeBron. Look, still battling ankle trouble. Then he got poked in the eye in the fourth quarter by Draymond Green, and it did not matter. Oh, you're calling it a gouged? You got gouged? Because LeBron James, here it is, a minute later, hitting the only shot that mattered. From the logo, under a minute left to play, that would be your game winner. Lakers locking up the 7 seed with a big win for them, and for LeBron, another brilliant playoff moment for the resume. Here's the king after the win.
I put in a lot of work in my game. After drape my finger to the eye, I was literally seeing three rims out there. So I just shot at the middle one, and I was able to, through the grace of the man above, I was able to knock it down.
I feel like I've heard that somewhere before. Nick, I can't see my eye. What's your reaction to last night's play and win by LeBron and the Lakers? What was your reaction?
Well, listen, oddly enough, LeBron couldn't see before the shot, and Steph couldn't see after the shot because he got hit right between the eyes. He had blurry vision. He's like, oh, no, I'm the one that's supposed to do that. But that's not, of course, how it works. Listen, I could focus if I wanted to about, LeBron James, the greatest player ever, having another Pantheon playoff moment. That is the second longest shot to win a postseason game in the final minute that we have seen since they've started tracking those things in the last 20 years. The only shot longer is the famous Damian Lillard shot against Paul George in the Oklahoma City Thunder when Dame waved goodbye to everybody. So we could focus on that. We could focus about how that was actually, when you really think about it, LeBron's worst high-leverage playoff game in years. And it ended being 22-11-10 and the game-winning dagger right in the guy's eye that everyone thought would hit the game-winning dagger. But instead, I want to focus on what we saw most notably in the second half last night, which is playoff basketball. And nobody tell those sleepy contenders in Brooklyn, but that's what it looks like. You know how you can survive your best three players going 4 for 28 in a first half? If you come out in the second half and get stops. The second half last night, the Golden State Warriors made 17 baskets and had 15 turnovers. And over the next 2 months, in the biggest moments, in the biggest games, what you are going to see is it's going to come down to who can get stops. And the Lakers, for all their inconsistency, for all their injuries, for all the lineup changes and starting lineup tweaks, the one thing that has been consistent from game 1 to game 73 is they are the best defense in basketball. And when you add to it the best player in basketball history who just has a history, I guess would be the word, of making the biggest shots we've ever seen, that's what you see. And with that, I say, Brandon, I am so glad to have you back this morning. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about that game.
Hey, listen, last night was awesome. But first, Nick, why do you have to make this into a drama? This is not a drama. I love how you just talked about, the history and LeBron James and first half, second half. It was a great game. It was the first play-in weekend. It was phenomenal. Warriors versus Lakers. The first half, I absolutely enjoyed just the thought of you sweating. You know, LeBron James, he didn't look well. AD, the same OD we've been seeing all year. I'm on Twitter. I'm sitting there saying, oh, man, I'm loving this. Nick Wright's going to have a long day tomorrow. And then the second half came. And then LeBron James throwing some dimes, making some big plays, the stops that you talked about. But you got to highlight the Warriors, man. The Warriors played phenomenal. If you go back to that first half, defensively, I mean, they were on one string. They were playing together. It was phenomenal seeing Draymond Green stand up and play against AD, stand up and play against LeBron James. He made them boys look like they were just rookies. That's how awesome he played. Yep. And the reason why they were able to stand up in the second half and make big play after big play is because, you know, it's the Warriors, Nick. I'm sorry to say it, but it's just the Warriors. And if you think that type of play out of AD in the first half, going 2 for 12, 0 for 3 from deep, 3 turnovers, looking lost on defense at times, if you think that type of play is going to beat the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Jazz, like, you're mistaken. They're certainly not going to beat the Nets. So if you want to see this team take another step, you need to call your boy AD and just figure out what is going on. It just continues to happen week after week after week. And while I'm sorry, man, it was a great game. It was great for basketball. It was great for the fans. But the Lakers, it's boom or bust. That's what it's about.
Okay. Man, I feel way more confident in the Lakers after watching that game than you do, Brandon. And there was 3 big winners last night. I do, man. LeBron was a big winner. Our buddy Nick Wright was a big winner. And Nick, you know who was the secret big winner? Evan Wash. EVP, basketball and strategy for the NBA, because the play-in is here to stay. It was just not only, it was a great night for the NBA, and it proves how important it is to constantly tweak your game. We've seen the NFL do it. The NFL is always putting wrinkles into the game to make it more exciting and more interesting, and that's what we saw the NBA do last night, and they came up big winners. There was a playoff urgency to it. It felt like a miniature finals game. It had all the aspects of the NCAA tournament. Now, I know, Nick, there's an argument like, all right, what if it went the other way? What if you took so much out of Steph and the Warriors that you don't see them in the playoffs? Maybe they get knocked out. Say, you know what? I think that's the price that we pay for having an all-time instant classic. And I expect the NBA to start tinkering with the schedule a little bit more. We've kicked around like those mid-season tournaments. I don't know how it's going to come to fruition, but it's a big win for the NBA and their ability to inject urgency in what's otherwise a sleepy beginning of the playoffs.
Okay, well, a couple things. One is I agree with a lot that you said, as long as the Warriors win Friday. If the Warriors lose Friday and we get the Grizzlies getting just dog-walked by the Jazz in round 1, instead of without the play-in, we would have had Lakers, Suns, which we're getting, and Jazz, Warriors, we'll see if we'll get it. Then I think your buddy Evan at the NBA, while last night's going to be a ratings bonanza, I think it's going to be a little bittersweet because they want the Warriors and Steph Curry in the playoffs. To your other point about the NBA tweaking the schedule, listen, I'm not privy to those conversations in the league office. They won't even give me a vote. So I don't know what they're planning on doing. But Brandon, here's what I do know. Here's what I do know. Whatever tournament, playoff kind of simulation they add, you know who's going to be the best player in it? LeBron. The best player in playoff history. Guess what? Guess what? Greatest play-in performance ever. Jason Tatum had 50. I give him credit. But he didn't have a 34-footer in Steph Curry's eyeballs to win the game. He didn't have that. So, listen, we've got LeBron James already had the record, Brandon, for most playoff buzzer beaters and game winners. Now he has the record for most play-in buzzer beaters at a midseason tournament. Add that to the resume. It'll be fun. Hopefully LeBron's still playing.
Listen, I'm with you. I always tell you I'm with you when you're right. Look, LeBron James, king of the playoffs. LeBron James, king of the finals. And now LeBron James can add something else to the resume that you can talk about for the next 20 years, and that's the king of the play-in games, Jenna. Absolutely ridiculous. The inaugural play-in games and LeBron James hit a 34-foot fadeaway three-pointer, please.
I know.
Yeah.
But can we just give a little
So
credit,
good.
and you did, Brandon, give a little credit to the Warriors who played him tough last night and hung with him till that last shot. We got to talk more about this little post-game chat between LeBron and Steph. Yes, it was a sign of things to come, perhaps. We'll dive into it next. This is First Things First.
Credit to Steph.